Welcome in. Cube Show Podcast, college football podcast coming to you weekly. Latest weekend. So some games that we have to go through, we have to talk about that are not going to provide us with a lot of excitement, a lot of cool things, but we need to get through and we need to talk about them either way. So that'll lead us into rivalry weekend. A little bit of a preview for this upcoming weekend. We'll give you that towards the end of the show. But we watch the film of all the games. We bring it to you. We let you know what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't. That's the genesis of the show. Please subscribe if you haven't. Josh says we can't get to 20,000 subscribers. We are on our way there, and we're going to try to get there soon. We're brought to you by Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious. We have them. You should have them. Snack on them. Put them on your sandwich. Go find recipes at Wickles Pickles on Instagram. They're fantastic. You'll love them. We love them. My kids love them. WicklesPickles.com. You can get the apron, the T-shirt, the hat. You got all the gear. Pickleball paddles. WicklesPickles.com. Please support Wickles Pickles because they support us. They make this podcast happen. So we appreciate them. Let's get right into it. Texas A&M, Samford. Marcel Reed did some nice things. He had a couple of misses in this game. Thought he made good decisions on when to leave the pocket. We're going to talk about some games where teams were just overmatched, plain and simple. This was one of the few games that I've watched of this caliber the last couple of years, even not just this season, not just for A&M, not just this weekend, where I have honestly been watching the game and could almost feel the coaching staff say, this should not be happening. Like, this probably should not continue. Like, literally waiting for the other side to tap out or throw in the towel. And I'm not accusing Samford of quitting or wanting to quit, but like, it was that big of a mismatch. It really was. Like, you saw the pressure sort of subtract and back off. You saw the play calling really sort of subside as far as how aggressive it was. And then the substitutions came in a lot faster than I think you would see in a lot of games like this. So there are not a lot of big takeaways in this one. I didn't come away from this with my opinion changed on a lot of things from a Texas A&M perspective. I did like what I saw from the middle of the defense, and it's a part of this defense that not a lot of people really talk about. Albert Regis had some good push, and he's done this throughout the course of the year. This is something I think moving forward we need to pay attention to because we know about the edges of the defense. We know about the linebackers, how fast they played, and they played fast in this game again. 27 was great. Thought he played a solid game defensively, and not just Albert Regis, but also DJ Hicks inside. Just the push that they're able to get, the girth that they bring to the interior of that defensive line. Two guys that I thought did some good things. Thought Dalen Evans, 55, had a nice game here. But once you get past the first couple of series, I don't really know what a lot of the takeaways were in this matchup. You weren't getting normally what they're going to call defensively, things they're going to do. Cassius Howell had some good reps when he was in the game. I like some of the gap scheme runs that they went with. Amari Daniels, a nice job getting to the perimeter, running the football. Thought he looked great. The defense was disrupted. They played screens well because there was going to be a lot of quick game from Samford. They got out to the perimeter quickly. Linebackers, I thought the DBs came up, tackled extremely well. That was a big plus. Like 29 getting downhill as well, coming down playing the run when they did have runs or playing screens when you had quick passes. The front didn't move a whole lot in this game. They're a little more static than they have been. They knew they didn't have to. And you don't allow a third down conversion. I think this is the fifth game this year that the A&M defense has allowed 2 or fewer conversions in a game, third down conversions. 48-0, they get the win. It was great reps for a lot of other guys. And you just move forward and focus in on Texas, man. Like, there's just not a bunch of huge takeaways here that I'm going to be able to give you. Ashel Bethel-Roman, a couple of nice grabs. Concepcion did great when he was throwing the football, but they weren't going to get extended work, and it wasn't a lot that you're going to look at and say, oh, yeah, I learned a lot from that game. But you come away feeling pretty good if you're A&M. You should be healthy heading this game with Texas, and we'll preview that one here in a few minutes. Some of the same things with Georgia and Charlotte. However, I did think I've got some takeaways in this game, and I'm going to say this again. I think the way Bobo's calling plays is exceptional. I love how he works in the screen game. I love how he works in the quick passes. I love what the quarterback is doing and is asked to do. I thought Gunnar Stockton was on target early, 17 to 21, 196. He did have the one pick, and it's a route up the seam where you had, I believe it was cover 2, and you didn't see that defender kind of drop in space there. Now, I'll also say tight end probably needs to pull that route out to the numbers before he comes back inside to help gain some separation. But that was one where I think Gunnar just kind of locked in and was like, I can make this throw. Great play by the kid that went and got it. It was a nice job, but ran the ball well. Nate Frazier had a couple of good runs here. Noah Thomas showing up again. Zachariah Branch in the quick game. Some big blocks by the offensive lineman. Watch big Juan Gaston here on the screen get out wide, big shove onto the ground, but the athleticism with the leap over the second offensive player right there. And what is this? We're talking like 6'6", 360. And he's out there, nimble feet, showing what he can do. Something fun that I wanted to show you guys there. But once again, we're not taking a ton away from this game. I did like the little H-back tight end fullback number 0 that Joey Burns was his name for Charlotte. Looked like an extra guard that they just threw the number 0 on and let him do some fullback tight end things, running around trying to make some plays. Defensively, couple of things that I do think you can take away from this game. Justin Williams, 19, all over the place. Extreme versatility, off the ball, inside, outside, on the ball. He's playing pullers. He's rushing off the edge. He's playing flat. He's dropping in space. Really impressed with him. Chris Cole, kind of the same thing. Chris Cole playing flat, rushing the passer, doing different things like that. Really liked what I saw from him. Raylan Wilson played extremely fast in this game. Big fan of his. I keep saying Elijah Griffin's coming along inside, big 90. He did some nice things on the interior of that defensive line. I'm a big fan of kind of what he can do. I also look inside and see a little bit more of the depth coming, like Nasir Johnson's a guy that I think could help him inside. So there are a couple of guys here that you look at and say, all right, we're going to be able to lean on these players either in the Georgia Tech game or once we get into the postseason. I thought 33 did some good things for the defense as well. So they did what they needed to do. Now, there was some flow to the outside that I think maybe they either lost contain or their eyes were stolen by misdirection just a little bit. Here's another little thing that I noticed about the Georgia defense. And the only other team in the SEC that I will say this about this season's Texas A&M. Multiple times in this game, probably 3, 4, maybe 5 times in this game, you saw a Georgia defender with a run at the quarterback, mostly outside of the pocket, scramble drill, bootleg, sprint out, and they ran at the quarterback with their hands in the air and did not leave their feet. That forces the quarterback to get rid of the ball now, and it doesn't allow them a window to make a clean pass into. It's hard. I played only defense in high school. It's hard not to leave your feet. You want to bat the ball down. You're certain when that quarterback takes it back that you're not going to get Diego Pavia'd, and he's going to get you off your feet and juke you and move around and then throw a different pass. But the Georgia it sounds super simple, and this is easy, elementary, but I saw 4 or 5 times where Georgia defenders running at the quarterback, hands in the air, did not leave their feet. It's a small detail. I actually talked to Elko about it earlier this year, and he's like, we coach it. We hammer it. It's something we focus in on. We put a lot of emphasis on. Did have a couple of drops offensively. Did turn a couple of guys loose in pass protection, but Stockton was going to get the ball out in time, so it wasn't really going to matter. Good to see Christian Miller back in there on defense. He was filling some things up, doing a good job. But I do like kind of what you saw from some of the guys you're going to be leaning on heading into the postseason. So for Georgia, 35-3 against Charlotte, did some great things, got some new guys some reps. There's not going to be a ton of takeaway here from this one. There just isn't. But yeah, you see kind of heading into the Georgia Tech game, you should be healthy and you feel good about things. So that's great. All right. We'll go to Alabama, Eastern Illinois, 56-0. I mean, there were like superlatives for all-time scoring, rushing touchdowns, touchdown scores. But I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't feel great about this when I watched this game, when Alabama had the ball. Thought Ty Simpson missed a couple of throws over the middle of the field. There were a few that I felt like he either just thought he could make or he missed, had a ball or two sail on him. That was just a little bit disappointing. The run game was okay, and you saw some dominant blocks like here. We'll show you down near the goal line. Proctor and Cam Dewberry, nice little double team here into the end zone. Easy escort right there for the score. That's the way it should be. Should have gotten more of this the entire game. But the offensive line had missed assignments all over the place in this game. That can't happen against Auburn, and that can't happen in the postseason if you're going to win a lot more football games. Just not something that you're going to be able to do. Slide protection a couple of times, that broke down, and you had guys in the backfield chasing your quarterback. Thought 74-71 had a good game over on the left side. Big difference not having Parker Brailsford in this game. Massive. I could see it immediately, and it's not a knock on the kid that was in. It's just different. Just not capable of doing a lot of the same things that you're able to when he's in the game. I thought Jam Miller had some nice runs, but a little too shifty at times. So when you get 9 in the game, that's your hammer, that's your downhill guy. And he did a couple of those in this game. He had a couple of nice runs where he just gets north and south and he pounds, and you love to see it. Not having Cuevas in the game, you could feel that. That was a little bit different. That's one to watch this weekend in the Iron Bowl. If he's not available, not good. But I do think that Jam Miller has that explosive capability, but this is one of the first games that I really noticed. He, and I think Kevin Riley too, just a little too much wiggle before the line of scrimmage and before something opens up instead of just kind of hitting that hole when it opens up. Richard Young's going to give you more, just a little bit of that downhill. Great to see Quay Russaw back in on defense. He can be a difference maker for them down the stretch. I thought 18 was extremely active again. Man, he's played really well since the first game of the season, and he caught all kind of hell after that game. He is rushing from the outside. He's flying down from the safety spot, making plays, like just does a lot of good things when he's in the game. I thought he caused problems in this game. He just shows up. He shows up to the football. And whether he Ronnie Lots people and knocks them on their back or whether he dislodges the ball, I don't really care. He shows up to the football on a consistent basis. And that's what you want from that position. And I think he's played like 4 different spots in the secondary for them. So his value continues to show. DBs came up and played perimeter run extremely well. And that, remember, that was mainly one guy. That was an issue for Alabama early on too. Hasn't been much of an issue left. 5 had an amazing pick in this game. That was extremely impressive. There were a couple of stunts defensively, run stunts, and one in pass pro where the loop man's not getting around. Like, you got to have precision with that, the way that you run it. Got to have that show up on time, or else you're going to open up run lanes. And it's going to be a big problem, specifically with this Auburn offense you're about to face, because there are a couple runs that get downhill in a hurry. If that looper's not getting around, wide open spaces that they're going to be able to have there, and they're going to be able to run. So not a lot of pressure on the reps defensively when they just had one-on-ones, created a little bit of it, but they weren't going to be a lot of extended drops anyway. So I'm not really going to harp on that. I'm not going to say that I thought that that's real problematic, but listen, you went out there and took care of your business. There's not a ton we're going to take from it, learn from it, other than there are a few spots on this team, big drop-off when we get to the next man up. Big drop-off. All right, let's go to Vanderbilt in Kentucky. Diego Pavia sets a school record for passing yards in a game, most passing yards in a season by an SEC quarterback this year, most passing yards against Kentucky since Peyton Manning like 28 years ago. He had a day. 33 of 39, 484, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. Now, Kentucky had a lot of guys out in the secondary. I get it. I understand it. A lot of this was set up by some of the things that Diego and the run game were doing early on. He had 15 carries, 48 yards, but it was the attempt at some of the run game. So you showed option early. You showed lead early. You showed different zone plays early. And then it just turned into, okay, if they're going to focus in, try to take that away, give us one-on-ones down the field, like, we're going to take them. And that came off play action. That came off some fakes as far as options and sprint outs where he kind of pulled up and threw the ball where they were show and run early on. It's an excellent job setting some things up. And I'll say it again. I've said it all year. There are a lot of guys on this Vanderbilt football team that don't get enough credit. Like, I saw Cedric Alexander run the ball, catch the ball. I saw him blocking pass protection. I saw him lead block in this game. 28 doesn't get enough credit for what he does. He is an exceptional football player. Tim Beck doesn't get enough credit because he has gone into games with great plans. And think about the games he's had to alter the plan a little bit. You think they went into the Auburn game thinking they were going to throw that much, or the Texas game thinking they were going to throw that much? And all of a sudden, he has had to make these massive shifts the last couple of weeks. And it's been spot on, and they've been able to be almost a dominant offense, whether or not the game was close, the game was out of hand one way or the other. The offense has been rolling. But I give Pavia a lot of credit, man. Like, this is the thing that frustrates me when you talk about the Heisman Trophy and Diego Pavia. People want to put the numbers up there. Some people are going to want to take level of opponents. That's fine, whatever. I always laugh when people use WAR in baseball. I think it's kind of made up. I think it's kind of dumb. I don't get it. Like, I shouldn't need a statistic to tell you that a guy means a lot to a team. If you watch them, you should understand, like, wow, he makes a lot of plays at third base. He hits home runs. He hits doubles. He walks. Like, he doesn't make errors. He can steal bases. Like, okay, he means a lot to his team. We get that. We know that. Like, Diego Pavia means a lot to this football team. We had the conversation on Mac and Cube this morning. And we actually stole this from Connor O'Gara Saturday Down South. Players over the last 15 years, and we took it further than that mean more to a program than he does. First off, like, you can't give me an Alabama player or an Ohio State player or probably a USC or Notre Dame player, because everybody else that they had. Like Derrick Henry was awesome for that 1 year when Lane was calling plays, but there would have been other guys that they could have leaned on and still been okay. Maybe not as good, but they would have been okay. So it can't be that kind of a team with that much talent, in my opinion. The thing that I see with him is how he operates the offense. These are the same things that I've talked about with Ty Simpson, the same things that I've talked about with Gunnar Stockton this year. Diego Pavia in this game went 7-step drop, like straight drop back. He ran flatline option. He ran quarterback counter, quarterback power. I think he ran quarterback inside zone one time. He's running zone read. He's running RPOs. He's running screens. And then he's scrambling around doing his own deal in the back where he's just 360 and out. And he had 3 or 4 plays in this game that were those expletive plays, and they turned into positive plays for him. So I'll give you 3 of them right here. 3 plays where normally maybe something bad happens and they turn into a positive for Vanderbilt. First play, Pavi, you just see roll to the right, gives that little head fake, kind of Euro step, pump, and then gets it out to the receiver, picks up first down yardage. Just a heck of a play from him right there. Second play, just kind of runs out of time in the pocket, kind of looking right. Things open up, little shift, head fake again, finds Cedric Alexander over the middle. Once again, just keeping the play alive, not making big mistakes, having an understanding of down distance, having an understanding of not wanting to hurt the team, hurt the offense. Last play, this is just pretty insane when you talk about like the ability to ad-lib, the ability to do different things. So fake the reverse, comes all the way around to the right, can't find space. And then this is just ridiculous, being able to keep this play alive, throw to the sideline, ends up being incomplete. But I think the point that you receive here is that Pavia now has an understanding of not having those catastrophe plays, not hurting his team in that way, and something that's very different than it was a year ago. So at the end of the day, I look at it as his importance to me is the operation of the offense. Eli Stowers is great. Cedric Alexander is great. You went and added a Trey Richardson from junior college, and he's giving you a ton down the field, and they needed that speed. They got it. It's one thing that helps them be different, but the way he operates that offense and the it factor that he adds, I think makes them totally different. Defensively, they showed some different looks. They have some different stand-up looks, some creepers that they're showing. You had some simulated pressures that you showed here. As the game went on, didn't need to show as much. I think they backed off a little bit. I think Clark just kind of said, hey, you know, we'll do some things here. We're not going to show you a ton. Brian Longwell was really good at linebacker. The alley defenders were fantastic. So either outside linebackers, nickels, safeties that were playing out in the alleys, coming up, playing outside run, coming up when the quarterback would leave the pocket, coming up on screens, just did a really nice job, whether it was 29, whether it was 17 or 2, whoever was out in the alley, excellent job for this Vanderbilt defense, because there were a couple of times where it was do or die, and it was that defender or it was going to be a nice gain, and they would fly up and be able to make those plays. Raymond Fontenette has been great for this defense this year. He flies around and makes plays. Mark Davis was making some plays out there. So it was an impressive performance all around for this Vanderbilt football team. Kentucky shorthanded in some spots really cost them. I thought Davin Rayner played well up front. I thought you had Imquise Humphrey Grace was really good on the interior of that defense. Couldn't get to the quarterback fast enough and couldn't get him down when you did get to him. That was a big problem. Couldn't get Seth McGowan going. I actually think with the way the game began to go in the second quarter, that allowed Vandy to be a little more aggressive on defense, and that wasn't going to play into how Kentucky needed this game to go. Cutter Boley started out okay, but then had to start to press a little bit. I think he felt that he was trying to catch up and play catch up, and that's just not where he needs to live right now. He's not experienced enough to be able to do that, and just wasn't going to be his strength. Willie Rodriguez helped a little bit at tight end. J.J. Hester, good catch, but offensively, they weren't going to be able to keep up, especially with Vanderbilt being able to be as aggressive as they were defensively. It just wasn't going to happen. All right, guys, don't forget about Game Day Men's Health. If you're feeling on edge, if you're lacking sleep, if you're lacking energy, Game Day Men's Health wants to help you today. Just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. They have weight loss programs, testosterone replacement. The peptides are in stock. They can help you with all that. Now open in Trussville as well. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get your free consultation. You get the free PSA test, free testosterone test. They'll tell you where your baseline health is and then present the different ways in which they can help you. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. All right, Texas and Arkansas. Man, and y'all got mad at me for a couple of things that I said, my takeaways on Twitter about what I saw and how I saw it. This was probably one of them. I come out and I'm watching we got offset I formation. We're running wham and different trap variations with the fullback, H-back, with the tight ends. We're splitting them. And all of a sudden, you can see Arkansas and you can see Bobby Petrino changing some of the blocking angles on defenders. And the Texas kids didn't really react to it very well. You could tell they weren't as familiar with it, hadn't seen it. And all of a sudden, you're busting some big runs. Here comes Mike Washington for a 41-yard touchdown. He's running over people. Taylon Green, watch this Euro step from Taylon Green here, by the way. Just like sixes out, gets in the open field. Taylon Green, right? I mean, like, kid's fantastic. Obviously had the interception. KJ Jackson comes in a little bit later. The run game was there, and then Texas kind of slammed the door on it. All of a sudden, you had a couple of those interior guys. And I'll tell you this, Colin Simmons has been great against the run this year. Didn't know that was going to go to this level and be as good as it was. This was a game for Ethan Burke. He was fantastic in this game. It wasn't a ton of tackles, but he was moving offensive linemen to spots that they didn't need to be in that made run plays difficult, dent the pocket a few times. Ethan Burke really good in this game. Trey Moore solid in this game. Leona Leafout is all over the place all the time. 18 was flying around in this game. It looked as though Arkansas was going to be able to hang. And when the defense sort of stepped it up and began to close things down with the run game, it was going to be a problem. And obviously, Arch Manning was really comfortable in this game. You could see multiple times where visibly he forces a defender into conflict. And I know a lot of times it's just, hey, throw it to the open receiver. Well, sometimes he creates the open receiver, or Sark's offense creates the open receiver. And you can see Sark in his drop, or you can see Arch in his drop where, all right, hook defender comes up, throw it right behind him to the seam. Or hook defender drops, hit the out route, throw the comeback, whatever that is. Like, here's two things Arch has done. I think he's seeing it a little bit better, and visually he has a better understanding of what's happening. And then on the flip side of that too, I think his calm has shown up in the pocket. So when he does get a little bit of pressure, you saw him step up one time, throw the big touchdown pass down to Livingstone. Like, he's not panicking like he was first couple games of the season where every ball's 1,000 miles an hour and he's running full speed as soon as he gets a little bit of pressure. We don't get that from March anymore. And that shows his growth, not only himself, but I think also Sark in that offense, what he's allowing him to do and what he's kind of getting him into and helping him feel comfortable. So a nice win for Texas, and they'll go into that Texas A&M game this weekend. Massive one for both teams. Tennessee, Florida, 31-11. All right, so I don't watch the game in exact sequence as it goes all the time. I usually watch one side of the ball for one team, other side of the ball the other team. So I watched the Florida offense first, and I saw Jaden Ball kind of having his way. Felt like, man, they got a little something going here. I knew the score was 31-11, but I saw 13 running some people over, bouncing off tackles. He went 18 for 96. He's incredible, by the way. He's really good. Austin Barber, I'm watching him roll guys up. Watch Austin Barber here, left tackle for Florida. Nice little look, engage, shoot the hands, drive the feet, boom. Peter Roll put the belly on him. Austin Barber's been really good down the stretch here. I thought he and some of the tight ends did some good things, but at the end of the day, it wasn't that way. It didn't. Obviously, I understand now going back and looking at how the game played out. Florida didn't get off to a good start. I feel like they did based on how I watched it. Also, when I put the defense on, I see Caleb Banks wrecking shop early on. I'm like, okay, the defense is showing up too. So that was just kind of how I saw the game. Obviously, it didn't go that way. Lagway 11 of 17, 116. This could not get the ball downfield consistently. Some of that you give credit to the Tennessee defensive line. They were able to get to the backfield, cause some problems, dent the pocket a little bit. And then two, I just think this offense has had trouble finding explosives down the field a lot of this season. It just hadn't really been there. Some of the runs from Lagway I liked, thought were good, thought he executed it well. Thought they did some good things. A couple drops hurt him in this game. I think that was a problem for Florida as well. But at the end of the day, the big takeaways here are going to be on defense or on offense for Tennessee. I freaking love what they're doing right now with the tight ends and the H-backs. Here, I'll just show you a couple right here. The down near the goal line, short yardage, this double insert into the A gap. This is not just something they're doing in short yardage. So you're going to get the tight end now when he's lined up kind of right there in between the tackle and the guard, where he can split and run split zone. He can insert into any gap. Now you put another one there, insert them both into the same gap. How many defenses see this on a consistent basis? They don't. So you're giving people something that they have to prepare for and that visually they're not comfortable with heading into a big game against Vanderbilt this weekend. Now, on top of that, you'll split him wide, you'll play action him and hit him out in the flat. They got 2 of those this weekend against Florida. That's going to be dangerous with how they maneuver that. So I just love what Halsey and Heupel are doing with the extra bonus bigs behind the line of scrimmage and how they're manipulating things and how you have to play it, because it might be all the way across flat and you're walling off a defender. And then sometimes they'll squeeze him down a little bit more. You're going to see what South Carolina did here in a minute. It's pretty cool. And then you can just kind of go like a little wham concept where it's like a trap play. You can get him out in the flat, and then they'll arc him as well. So you'll come across like it's split zone, arc outside that defensive end and turn into a lead blocker. And they hit like a couple of big outside runs here with Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas. Star Thomas did a good job bouncing things to the outside and finding some space. Tennessee runs 51 times for 248 yards. Those bonus bigs were a big reason why that happened. 3 rushing touchdowns as well. So the H-back tight end position was massive as to why they were doing it. I thought Aguilar took care of the ball. Quick, simple throws. Halsey also added a lot of misdirection in this game. A lot of east and west stuff behind the line of scrimmage that I thought visually played with the Florida eyes. Didn't allow them to kind of focus in, dial in, and jump plays, so to speak. Kept their feet in the ground. But I'll say this quickly for Florida. It wasn't the best performance defensively, but it was on full display what you would have had and should have had from Caleb Banks all year, because 88 was a man amongst boys. In the backfield, like he was almost unblockable in this game. You're going to go look at the box score and say, he didn't do anything. Watch the film. He did a lot. Like he impacted the game. It's just they found ways to maneuver around him, and there were some letdowns in some other places where he wasn't able to do that. But man, oh man, like 97 did some good things. 94 on the edge. Didn't quite play the run as well as I wanted him to on a couple of plays. Linebackers like Miles Graham still getting downhill a little bit, but this was sort of east and west, finding big plays on the perimeter for Tennessee, and it was impressive. Defensively for Tennessee, I thought Big 20 had a big game again. I thought he didn't make a lot of plays, but got decent push inside. Dominic Bailey inside, outside. Good to see Aaron Carter back. They're going to need him against Vandy with how they operate that offense. But a good job being stout at the line of scrimmage for that Vanderbilt defense. And Florida just could not consistently keep things going offensively. All right, guys, Roback. There it is. Right there. I'm sporting Roback right now. Save 20% with promo code COLE20 at roback.com. Hoodies, quarter zips, t-shirts, pants, shorts, all of it. Now they have the team issued gear for all your SEC teams as well. Go to roback.com now and use promo code COLE20. South Carolina 51-7 over Coastal Carolina. Defense played fast. That was one of my big takeaways here. I loved Sean Murphy, how he played down to the line of scrimmage. Okoronkwo played well, played fast. DQ Smith down from safety played well. All right. Brian Thomas, good off the edge. We take like 33 good inside. Goodwine, Miles, good inside. Okay, we'll kind of move on from that because that was a mismatch. I love some of the stuff they're doing on offense. This little A-gap sniffer with 87, Brady Hunt, how you're using him. Watch this play where he lines up right here in the A-gap. Bam, he's going to go. That's almost like split zone, but it turns into a trap or a wham, and you're able to hit north and south quickly right there. Matt Fuller gets upfield. This is a dangerous little play. Now, Hunt can catch the football. He can be a lead blocker. You can insert him. You can split him. A lot of things you can do right there, similar to what Tennessee's doing with some of those things. And then Lenora Sellers, using him in the run game, only opens other things up with that they're going to be able to do and things that they can manage right there. So I loved the game plan. I love going into a game like this and trying some new things. And instead of saying, let's just run super vanilla base stuff and not show anything, let's try some new stuff. We'll find out if we're good at it. Then we can carry it into the Clemson game. We can see if it'll go work for us there. Sellers 16 to 22, 74, 2 touchdowns. I want to show this block by Jawarren Howell, also 22, lined up at running back. Comes out of the backfield. You get the ball over to the near sideline. He cuts back, blocking a defender over towards the sideline, comes off that defender into another defender, and that leads in for the South Carolina touchdown. Like, that's a hell of a play by 22 right there. Just one that I wanted to highlight that I saw. I appreciated that. The offensive line still not clean, can be better. Pretty good effort, pretty good strain, but we got to start moving some people at some point in time. if this offense is ever going to unlock itself, whatever it turns into this year or next year. So couple of good balls down the field. Jaden Sellers was great in this game, man. He got off to a quick start right out of the gate, 4 for 127 and a touchdown, provided explosive plays. Good to see him doing some of the things that he did. Oklahoma takes down Missouri 17-6. Here's what we take away from this game. This Oklahoma defense is filthy, man. I just don't think people understand the precision in which this defense operates. That was what I took away from this game. Because what I'm watching in this game is Oklahoma defenders lined up in a spot where it's going to be a very difficult block for that individual. Vacating that spot to another spot that would be just a tough block for the other individual, but because of the alignment they have, they're not able to exit out and attempt to make said block. So you're using one guy to make life difficult on two up front. And they do this on a very regular basis. Show you one play, how it operates here. Outside zone, kind of a split outside zone play, but what I want you to watch from this Oklahoma defense is Kip Lewis playing the edge right here. Watch how he sort of slow plays this thing, lets the whole play out. Now, really what he does initially here is he's going to make the right tackle wrong. See that right tackle start to turn back a little bit? Can't get caught sort of turning this thing back and trying to hinge unless you know you've got him reached to the outside. Lewis understands that, but because he knows he's got the slant from his defensive end coming across here, playing across the face, he's going to occupy these two offensive linemen and then watch him slow play this thing and go right back underneath and make the play. Just an unbelievable job. Now, you need to have a little bit of help out here on the perimeter as well. Pretty good edge set by the corner. And then Lewis is able to sort of just slow play this thing, slow play it, and then dart right back underneath. This is the kind of precision that I'm talking about with this Oklahoma defense that you just don't get in a lot of other places. Then on top of that, you get patience out on the outside with a guy like Kip Lewis who kind of rides, and then slides back down underneath and makes a play. All of them, man. David Stone, Grayson Halton, Kendall Daniels, Owen Heineke, they know when to get downhill. The run through was there. You occupy two linemen and run the linebacker through. If you're running a zone scheme, how do you deal with that? They understand, the linebackers play a little tighter in this game. That's why some of the run through was there. It's fascinating to watch. And I was really excited about the matchup of this stretch zone against this movement defense. And I'm going to go back to it. The one game that they did not appear to be dominant was the Texas game. And if you watch it closely, they were static 95% of that game. So my advice to the Oklahoma defense, move your ass off for the rest of the season because that's where you're great and be who you are. Mizzou just couldn't get it going. I will say this. Ahmad Hardy, that may have been the most impressive 17 for 57 I've ever seen because there was not a lot of space. There were tackles broken. There were legs churning. There was high energy and high effort for 57 yards rushing. He gave the effort. Norfleet gave good effort, but they were overpowered because what you needed to complement some of what that offense has, Prebula couldn't give it to you. One, inaccurate in the quick game, in the intermediate stuff, and then two, it looked like the mobility was there, but they couldn't really unlock it the way that they needed to. And you have to hit some of the deep balls. When they give you man coverage, you got to connect on those. And they just weren't there for that Missouri offense. Kevin Coleman, 7 for 115, had a couple of nice grabs, but just not enough to be able to stay in this game. Now, on the flip side of that, I'm concerned about where Oklahoma's going to live offensively. What is your foundation? What is the one thing when you head into this game against LSU and then the postseason potentially that you say, man, it's going to hell in a handbasket? Let's go back to this. Because the only thing I can come up with is quarterback run. They had a couple quarterback powers with the jet sweep in front of it, and you go right behind that, you use it. Obviously, the scramble stuff is going to be there, but I'm struggling to find where they're just going to make their living. And Mateer does not, I still don't think he looks 100%. So some of the throws are just going to be off. Your thumb's pretty important throwing the football. Think about that. If you're throwing the football, that thumb is pretty important. Imagine trying to throw a football without a thumb. I don't think you could do that. So that issue, I think, is going to probably just be with him the majority of this year. Not all the throws are going to be exactly where he wants them to be, specifically when he's on the move. So they're going to live and die with this defense, and they just need him to come up with a couple big plays. And you got Satanga, who made a big play in this game. Burks can still make some plays. Like, you got a couple guys that can help you create explosives. They just have to find them the rest of this season. It's the only way that they're going to be able to continue to survive. All right, I was on the call for Western Kentucky and LSU. I will say this, like, one of the coolest things about this game, had a chance to meet Jai Eugene Sr. before the game. And I'm going to put a picture up of him right now. You don't need to know who that other clown is. He's an LSU legend, by the way. But I think this was one of the cooler stories that I have seen and kind of been around this year. So I heard about Jai Eugene Sr. and that he was committed to Michigan. Louisiana kid, finds out his girlfriend's pregnant, decommits from Michigan and commits to LSU. I meet him before the game. LSU sweatshirt, Western Kentucky sweatshirt, LSU hat. His son, Jai Eugene Jr., number 26, is playing DB for Western Kentucky. So you got senior in the stands, junior on the field. And I'm just thinking how cool it is that a dad who was committed to go play football at Michigan, quarterback in high school, put up some crazy numbers, knew he was a DB, flips his commitment to LSU, stays home for his son because he wanted to be around and be a part of his life. And now he's watching his son play in Tiger Stadium. Like, that's just stuff you don't get every week in college football, man. But really cool, because seeing him running around with all the LSU people and they're all cutting up with him, happy to see him. Like, he's a dude that everybody remembers. And now his son's playing over there for Western Kentucky inside Tiger Stadium. Western Kentucky was dialing up some offense early, man. I'm telling y'all, this Rodney Tisdale, he's crafty, dude. He's got a big arm. He can flip it around a little bit. 20 of 39, 128. Now, he did have the 2 picks. He pressed a little bit late. There was no run game going for him. The interior of this D-line, man, like, I talked to Kyle Williams before the game. Kyle Williams done a great job with his defensive line. Bernard Gooden has gotten so much better. Guillory has gotten so much better. Dylan Carpenter's helping out a little bit on the inside. A.J. Halsey made some plays. Devon Keys was good in this game. You're down your best cover man, and you're down your best player in Whit Weeks for about half of this game. So you had multiple starters out on defense. Perkins gets a little bit dinged up at some point. They settled in just a little bit, but at the end of the day, the offense consistency is not there. I think Van Buren's pressing. I think he knows where he's going to throw the football in most plays. I think the velocity can probably be altered just a little bit more. And he smartened up at some point in this game and said, you know what? Let's just lob it up to 14 and see what he can do. And Trey'Dez Green can go get it. Trey'Dez Green's a star. He is a big-time player, made some big-time plays in this game. Probably should have had a few more. And Harlan Berry's still coming along, but the offensive line not quite there. I love what Alex Atkins is doing, even up some of the looks, some of the formations to give you better chances at success running the football. But at the same time, like, the consistency is just not there on offense. But LSU gets the win, 13-10. It was ugly. Was what it was. You take it and you move on. So, all right, finally, Auburn Mercer, 62-17. Another one. There are not a lot of huge takeaways here for this one. Deuce Knight, 15 of 22, 39, 2 touchdowns. He ran 9 times for 162. Malcolm Simmons, 5 for 149. He was great. Cam Coleman made some good plays. Eric Singleton made a couple plays. Jeremiah Cobb, a few nice downhill run plays, didn't get extended carries. I get it. It's Mercer. There are a lot of people, a lot of you out there are not even going to allow for compliments to come in the way of Deuce Knight after this game. Okay, cool. I get it. Let me tell you what he did that I loved. And it was the poise and the calm. You guys hear me talking about calm with quarterbacks a lot. Watch him right here step up in the pocket. Looks like he's going to get sacked. Look, there's no panic. There's no twitch. There's no flinch. There's no moving around, wondering where you're going to go with the ball. Just step up, step up, step up. Not there. All right, cool. I'll break a tackle. I'll leave, and I'll run it in for a touchdown. Did this multiple times in this game. Now, was he off on some throws? Yes. Did he get rid of some throws late? Absolutely. But he showed he's got quick delivery. He's got all the arm strength that he's going to need. And he has a good understanding of how to leave the pocket and when to leave the pocket. And not a lot of young quarterbacks know that. He's not standing around trying to make a play. He's not dancing around doing all this crazy stuff. He understands, all right, we got to go now, get rid of the football. And he did that. So I appreciate that more so than anything else. Defensively, Robert Woodyard, great. Kayan Lee was great. So just not a ton that you're going to look at and say, oh, yeah, wow, this is, defense was great. Bobby Jamison Travis early on did some good things. Xavier Atkins played fast. Not even all these guys played the whole game. Our big takeaway here is Deuce Knight, and that he looks like he could be a star down the road. Will he get some snaps against Alabama? Maybe, probably, possibly. But you were not going to take too much away from this, but I will say there are a couple of things. If you dive into it and you look at it closely, you can be very impressed with. All right, if you're trying to get back into the hobby like me and my boys, you want to go to Fanatics Live right there. Get that on your app, and then you're going to go search Pizza Pulls. So you're going to go to the search tab right here, and you're going to see me breaking Bowman Chrome football. Pizza right there. Go to shops. There's Pizza Pulls. Bam, you're going to hit that. And what do you know? Right there is where we're going to be breaking Bowman Chrome U. We got the new football out from Topps right now. You get the Lenore Sellers auto. You got the Ty Simpson autos. A lot of different ones. Keldrick Falk. We can chase all those. Get in there on Wednesdays at Pizza Pulls or go to pizzapulls.com. Find them Fanatics Live, Whatnot, eBay Live, or Pizza Pulls. Social media, you can search Pizza Pulls Live as well. I'll be there every Wednesday breaking football at Pizza Pulls. All right, let's go to this weekend. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Egg Bowl. Mississippi State has to run the football. Booth and Bothwell have to get downhill. You cannot ask your quarterback to be your primary runner in this game. I don't care what the box count is. You can't do that. And maybe the quick game needs to loosen that up, whatever it is. But those two need to get going if you're going to have a chance to be in this game. If you're Ole Miss, just take care of the football. Do what you do. Georgia Tech. Just be careful visually on defense because you're not overly dominant anywhere, and you have a couple young players that come fill in, guys like 19, and when 5 is playing the way he's playing, that can get themselves out of position against a very visually deceptive offense. The problem here is I don't think Georgia Tech's going to get enough stops against Gunnar Stockton and company. I think they move the ball almost at will, and I think Georgia will be fine in that game. Texas A&M. The key to this game is the Texas protection. They rely on slide protection. They rely on pull protection. Texas A&M absolutely feasts on it. So first down is going to be huge. Can Texas get to 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2s? Can they live there? 2nd and 5, even 2nd and 6? Or if they're in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 10, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 12, not good. Not going to be good. Kentucky, Louisville, you just got to get your DBs healthy, man. Get Seth McGowan going. Feed Seth McGowan. Let him try to eat. It's a good defensive line that Louisville's going to play with, but that's your key there. Clemson, South Carolina, the O-line's got to manage that front. If you can't manage that front and you let them get in the backfield and not let Lenore's get comfortable and at least let him manipulate some things, work some reads, get some quick throws in, some RPOs, then you're in trouble. If they can manage, they can just offset it. Don't dominate, just offset it. I think South Carolina will be fine in that one. I think South Carolina defense will have a good game here in this one. LSU, Oklahoma, same thing. Oklahoma offensive line, you better manage all of it because you're going to get every look, every pressure, every blitz, every stunt. If you can't offset it and manage it, you're going to be in trouble because that front seven can take over a game. And Mansour Delane is going to be back to at least remove one receiver at a time on every single play when he's in the game because you're not throwing his way. John Mateer's got to take care of the football. I think the Oklahoma front, though, is going to be a massive issue. I don't think LSU offsets that. I think they cause turnovers. I think they maybe even get a score off a turnover. I think Oklahoma wins that game. Missouri, Arkansas, just manage Washington and Green. The Missouri defensive line is so much better than people believe. 10, 7, even the front 7, Trotter and company. I don't think that group's going to let the run game get going. Just don't jump gaps. Don't try to play underneath pullers. Play sound up front, and I think Missouri's fine in that one. Florida State, play 4 quarters. 4 quarters. Feed Trayvon Ball and play 4 quarters of football. Let Caleb Banks go bananas in this game. He should be able to have a big one. Manage the quarterback run. And then in the Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn. Auburn has to run the football downhill. If Auburn can run the football downhill, get north-south in a hurry, similar to some of the things we saw against Baylor, and it can be quarterback run at times, that will allow for some tempo. That'll allow them to steal some yards. That'll force Alabama to have the wrong personnel on the field at times. And then the quick game will open up because you'll have to back off when you're going up against tempo. It's get your cleats in the ground. So you're not coming up and playing press man. You're not going to be close to the line of scrimmage. Now Ashton Daniels can hit some of the quick hitters. Then you can work everything else off that, maybe get some double moves, some play action, some RPOs, and try to take your shots down the field to Cam Coleman, let Singleton run, different things like that. But that downhill run's got to go first. For Alabama, first off, you got to get Parker Brailsford back. I think he'll be back. What is Cuevas' situation here for this game? I think he can be big. The offensive line has to sort out the pressures. So what DJ Durkin is going to do is he is going to show you different looks early in this game to see how you're going to set your protections. Are you going to slide it? Is the back going to be responsible for one side? Is the center and left side going to be hot for one side? Once he feels like he has a feel of how you're setting different things and setting that protection, he's going to attack it the other way. So Grubb's got to switch protections up. He's got to change some responsibilities at times. They have to sort out all that pressure. They do that. I think they're going to be okay in this game. I think Auburn's going to have a tough one. It is at home. That will help. Ashton Daniels take care of the football. If Duke's nice in, take care of the football. Find some explosives. Auburn will have a chance to win that football game. They will have a chance because I think the defense keeps them in it. Hey, I appreciate you guys tuning in as always, man. It's fun being with you. It's been a great season. We still have the postseason bowl games, coaching changes, all of that. Stick with us. Please subscribe, and don't forget to be back next week.